Hi, my name is Brian. I'm co-owner at Cooper & O'Hara. On this channel, we're trying to create content around things that we've utilized for a really long time in our career, but maybe we've started to take for granted that knowledge that we gained, and we're trying to pass it on to you. One thing that we picked up from looking at color grading and toning in films, or just the way that films are shot, is this idea of depth using atmosphere. How a two-dimensional image can somehow convey a tangible, three-dimensional quality of a real space, and something that can really draw your viewer in and make them feel like they're viewing a scene less through a screen or a piece of paper and more like they're there. Having an image that has layers and something that the viewer can travel through is what gives it visual interest. If you can have all these items really fill a frame, you can hold the attention and tell a better story. So here's a screen grab from the film Dunkirk. Here's a great example where you can feel that main subject feels that much more separate and isolated from the background, both visually and emotionally. And this is a great example just to be able to articulate what's happening visually. If you compare the jacket on him with the same wardrobe on the people in the background, you can tell like it should be the same lighting, again, the same wardrobe. The only difference is the amount of atmosphere, of air that's between them and the camera. Notice that the darkest shadow tones on him in the foreground are really the crispest, darkest parts of the image, and in the background they fall off to a more muddled kind of dark gray. In this example, there probably is a good amount of distance between the subject and these background extras. But in addition, film sets use hazers all the time to create this effect of having atmosphere and just making the subject stand out that much more in 3D. Now, an important distinction is that fog machines and hazers are not the same. Hazers create much smaller droplets in the air, and it's something that hangs around for much longer, and it also doesn't look like anything is on fire. It just looks like there's a certain atmosphere in the air. Now this one was actually quite affordable at around $250 or $300 Canadian. There's a couple around this price range. Bigger productions use larger machines, both so that their output is better and just in general they're higher quality. The D50 is a really common one that I see is used a lot on film sets, and you can rent one similar to this or even a little bit nicer from a lot of music stores that are probably in your area, or if there's a film rental house, they might have hazers as well to rent for a very cheap day rate. Now here's a photo example where we used a hazer. It both helped to wrap that hard light that we had in the scene just around the subject a little bit more, because hazer also helps to carry that light further in the scene, and it basically acts as a little bit of diffusion, and it just exaggerates the sense of the background falling off and you're focused really on the subject. So now shifting gears, let's put on our post-production hat and we're going to dive into Lightroom, and I'm going to show you how you can simulate that effect. Here's an image where we're going to use a hazer, but because of the size of the space and the ventilation in this industrial research facility, it wasn't something that we could actually fill up with that haze. The way I'm going to pull off this simulated effect is using a local adjustment. So I'm going to create a radial adjustment here, and I'm going to invert it so that I'm just affecting the outer areas, not the subject. So I'm going to bring up the black levels a little bit, and while I adjust that, I'm also going to look at the highlights and kind of squash that down. I'll adjust the color just slightly too, just to give it a slight tint, just for interest. Boom, really quickly, it looks like it has that effect of falling off that much more into the distance. And the key here is using Lightroom, I'm just going to hover over an area of the image, and I can see if I hover over him, the blacks are much crisper, pure black, as opposed to a murkier sort of shadow that we have in that background area. And again, that's just going to help make him pop out that much more in the final image. So there you have it. There's two techniques that we use to create additional depth and interest in our images. Again, the main goal is to tell a story, and with any of our images, we're just hoping that the viewer takes their time and sort of looks around and maybe notices some more of these details and gets an emotion or a mood from the image. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more techniques like this, please subscribe, and we'll do our best to answer any questions in the comment section below, and let us know what else you're interested in learning from us. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.